Hey guys, in this video we'll be going over more file operations in Python. We'll be working on reading the file we just created. So I'm using pycharm today. So let's just get started. So if you haven't seen the previous video, watch the video before this in the playlist if you can. So we'll just start here with a main function. So I'll say def main. So we'll open a file to read, so it'll be for input, so we'll just call it input file. We'll say points to open. We'll open the, I'm going to use a Windows path, the one that I used to create the file. So if you're using a Unix machine like Mac or Linux, you're going to you're going to have to know how to do the path. You can Google it for your machine. I think it's the same thing, either one or two of these slashes, or maybe one or two of these other slashes. So just try that. One of those should work. If not, just Google how can I write a path on my computer. Like if you have a Mac, be like how to write type on Google like how to write a path in Mac or Linux, and then you should find how to write it. Sorry, I don't have a Mac, so I forgot. It's something similar to that. And here we'll actually just put that we want to read in read mode. So I'll have to put a string quotes, and then so we'll put some string quotes there, and then put an R inside for read mode. So here we'll just say name str points to file dot, whoops, no, we'll call our file object, so input file dot read line. We'll call the read line method. So input file dot read line, which is going to read the first file, read the first text line in the file. So it's going to start at the first letter in the file and go to the end to the first new line. So that's going to be the first line. If you want to know the exact function of this method, you can go to python.org and look at the documentations for read line. So you can just type in read line method Python docs on Google, and you should find this method somewhere. I think there's probably a way to, is there maybe a way to do it in pycharm? I'm not sure exactly, but the best way to do it is just go to the docs. For any language, just try to see, look up the docs. Alright, so we have our name string pointing to the first line in the file, and then we'll check here. If name is not an empty string, then we'll loop through the file to continue reading. So we'll have a while loop. We'll say while name does not equal an empty string, which is just going to be a string with nothing inside, like this, no space or no string inside, just empty quotes basically, with no space. So that just means that the string is basically empty. Then we'll say we could say employee ID points to input file dot read line, because it's going to read everything in order. So input file dot read line, so that's going to get the employee ID. So actually, this should be employee. This one should be employee name. Doesn't really matter, but I'll just change it, just to keep the same convention as the last video that we made. So we'll just say employee name here. And here we'll just call employee name again. While employee name does not equal an empty string, same idea. Then employee ID would be the next line. So if there is something in the file, then we're going to continue into the file. That's all that it's saying. Then here we'll have employee department. Employee department points to input file dot read line again. And then now we'll strip the new lines from the fields. Same idea as the previous videos. So we're going to use a method We're going to use the rstrip method. So we'll say here we're going to try to strip the new line out of the variable. So we're going to try to take the new line out of the string. This book's a little old that I'm working from, that I use in university, but hopefully this method isn't outdated, so we'll just try it. Actually, I think that's alright, so we'll just go, we'll call name here, so we'll say employee name points to itself, so employee name dot r strip, and we'll just pass in the new line string here, escape sequence or escape character, and we'll just strip all of them. So here we'll have employee we'll go with employee ID points to employee ID dot rstrip, the new line, and then we'll do the last one, which is department. So employee department points to employee department dot rstrip, the new line. And we'll print an empty line to space out the, we can actually just maybe print out like some kind of symbols or something. And then here we'll read the name of the next record. So we'll say, I think it's employee name points to input file dot read line. And that should probably be the end of the loop, I'm guessing. Then here we'll close the file. So we'll call input file.close. Whoops. So input file.close, and then we'll call the main function. That should be all. So we'll just go back and check if that was the right end of the loop, because my university book doesn't have any, there's no indentation in this book, which is stupid. I don't know if they just wanted us to figure it out or not. Okay, so we use the while input name dot, we use employee name for the condition of the loop, which means we'd probably check it again before the loop finishes, so that should be fine. I'll just run it just to see. Oh, apologize. I think we forgot one. We just forgot to print the data, so we have this employee name points to input file.readline. But before that, so let's just make some spaces here. We printed the new line. That was actually, that should also be spaced out. So I'll put my cursor here, move these lines down with the print symbols. Go back to this line where it was for employee department points to employee department.rstrip. And here we'll just print out the data here. So we'll say print we'll print employee name, pass in the employee name variable, and then here we'll print again, same idea for all of the fields or the variables. So here we'll have employee ID, I'll pass in the employee ID variable, and then last one, print the department, employee department. I'll space it out here between the quotes and that shift semicolon, then I'll hit a comma, and then I'll pass in the last field, employee department. I'll save that. I'll bring these back up. Whoops. Alright, so let's try that. I'll Control S to save. I'll run it. Okay, nothing printed. Okay, file.txt, read. Okay, so what happened here? Oh, no. Def main. Still indented, is it? Yes, this is still indented. Okay, so we'll take these indents out. So this is the main function, which goes down here. The while loop is here, so it's going to perform another indentation. All these lines are in the while loop. Then the while loop ends here. Then there's one indentation out and a second indentation out to get back to the norm outside of the function and the loop. So let's try that. Control S, I'll hit play. Okay, there's something wrong here. Input file dot close. $16. Should that be in? That should be okay. This should probably be inside. I'm just guessing that line, the close of the file should be probably in the function but outside the loop. So in line with this while loop, so let's try that. So I'll paste it there. Let's try that. Control S, third time's the charm. There we go. So we got our data here. So what happened is we read the file that we created last time. So it printed out the data that we stored in the file for the file write in the previous video. So it just basically read all the data and spaced it out, reading each string in the file one by one. So that was a different way to read a file. So instead of reading the whole file at once, you can process it line by line and search for different information. For example, here we checked if employee name was empty. Employee name was the first line in the file. We checked if that string was empty, which meant this basically just checked if there was anything in the file. So there was data in the file. There were strings in the file. Then we knew how the file was laid out, so we decided to just retrace everything we did backwards, basically. We stripped the new lines as well, which I'm not sure if that actually worked. I think it kind of worked. Let's see. Employee name, it still worked. I'm not sure if this strip method is outdated or not. Honestly, you can just yeah, it might be outdated, but at least we got the file operation correct, so that worked. So hopefully that helps at least you guys with learning how to read a file and writing to a file. So yeah, hopefully that helps. If you guys like the video, you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like for more programming and investing videos. And the next, actually, let's see, 20 minutes. Okay, I'll probably make this a second. I'll probably make a second video here. So in the next video, we'll start a whole new file, and we'll process some more data in a different way. So basically adding and displaying records, again, probably a little bit more complicated. Just maybe a little bit more complicated. We'll write the file, we'll read it, and then we'll search, and then we'll do a third one, which is going to be a search. So if you guys would like to see the next video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.